Hello, everyone. This chapter is going to talk about our air problems with air pollution and how the air gets polluted with all of these different particles that we put out into our environment, and then how they basically come back down to Earth and cause pollution. I can read about the atmosphere, okay, the different troposphere, that's where we got our clouds and so forth, and the stratosphere and so forth. You can read through this, learn about that a little bit. Learn about the different currents, that the air currents, the jet stream, and when the weatherman's always talking about the jet stream bringing cold air, or there's a low pressure or high pressure, they're talking about the currents in the air. So you can just review that a little bit. Different the clouds and so forth, how they reflect the sun, and just go into that. That's basically what this first part of the chapter is about. This is not an earth science class, so I don't expect you to memorize everything about the all these currents and what the names of them are and so forth. I just want you to be familiar with how these chemicals move around in the atmosphere, okay, and how the greenhouse effect, how that is formed, and how right now we're in this global warming phase. How come we're in that? How come? And we've had all sorts of scientists going around and taking samples, and we know a lot about our climate and how it's changed over many years and what kind of cycles it goes through. So are we speeding up this process of climate change by all the pollutants we're putting in the air? I think so. A little bit about how El Nino and La Nina occur and what's going on with that. And just like I just indicated before, are we affecting the cycle of the climate change? Is it happening sooner than normal? Yes, I think everyone agrees. We do have a committee that discusses this, and they give an assessment, and we try to get everyone to work together worldwide to stop the air pollution or reduce the air pollution. But if we're regulating all of our factories here in America, and they're not regulating their factories in Canada or Mexico, well, it's really a tough thing to get everyone on board, and this is a worldwide problem. So we need to come up with ways that everyone can agree on, and everyone can start protecting the air we breathe. Just a little example of what could happen if we had a 1 meter rise. That's about 1 meter, I guess, would be almost about 3 feet. Okay, but 1 meter. If global warming caused the glacier ice caps to melt, which it's doing, and sea level rose 1 meter, then Palm Beach State College would be probably underwater, and we would be. This is the area of this is the area where Palm Beach State was. But you see the area right here, the Keys, they'd be flooded. Everything down here, all the Everglades, that would be gone. They're not even showing Lake Okeechobee on this. But look at what has happened to New Orleans and all of the coastal areas along the Gulf coast here. So, you know, a lot of our coastal areas that we go to and we visit as tourists, perhaps, they'd be gone. There's no Palm Beach. The barrier island is gone. All of this would be flooded. And places like Jog Road would probably be beachfront right now if this happened. So, just interesting to think about what would happen. And we talked about policy and, you know, some of the major greenhouse gases and who is actually pumping out these greenhouse gases. Who's doing the most? Well, look. Oh, lo and behold, it's America and China. What do you know? Well, more about climate change and the evidence of it. You can read through these. Change in sea level, change in the amount of reproductive populations of these specific organisms that depend on ice. Their populations are being reduced. You can see the retreating glacier. Way up here now. How the countries, like the areas they grow wheat, as the temperature warms up here in northern Canada, they'll be able to grow wheat. That's kind of amazing. I wouldn't want them to take down their forests to grow wheat, but you know, that's Canada. They will do what they want to do, I guess. And then I do believe they're missing something here on this map. They should be telling us that this area here will, and all this down here is going to be very, very hot. I mean, it may be able to still grow wheat, but not for as long a season as it used to grow wheat. Wheat is one of our biggest agricultural things we grow. Just some increase in temperature change now. Every degree centigrade is several degrees Fahrenheit. So if something changes, you got to understand 0 degrees centigrade is 32 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit. So several degrees of Fahrenheit make up a centigrade. So just some information here about that. Okay, we could review this, and talks about our controlling our emissions, although we do have emissions standards. Maybe they're not enough, and we should maybe do more. Different opinions about climate change, and what can we do about it? How can we control greenhouse emissions? Internationally, how can we control this? Some suggestions are to this wedge approach, where we try to reduce and we work towards a little bit at a time we work towards accomplishing, Everyone wants to be carbon neutral. Carbon capture technology. You can read through these. Look at this air pollutant group. Oof, oof. You can read through this part of the chapter. What sources are specific pollutants? Who's basically putting those out into the environment? Well, we can look this over and we see that agriculture puts some out of there, but we see transportation in 5 out of the 6 of these. You seeing that there? Okay, transportation, the big one. And power plants, big in the sulfur dioxide, and that causes a lot of acid rain. And then we'll be talking about here's some dust. Of course, that's considered air pollution. Those particulate matter gets up into the atmosphere. We know that urban cities suffer more than rural areas when it comes to smog. Acid rain, told you before about that. This is an interesting image. Precipitation, acid rain over the United States. Notice how these areas up in the Northeast are seriously being affected by acid rain. The Blue Ridge Mountains the tips of the mountains are being bombarded by this acid rain, and basically the trees and all the flora and fauna are either dying or the fauna is leaving because they can't live in the acidic environment. The runoff is causing the lakes and streams and ponds and water bodies to be too acidic, and so it goes down to the microorganisms can't live there, and the food chain, so then the food chain dies and nothing can live there. So it is a problem. We do have some serious issues with acid rain. Major cities up here put all this pollution in the air, and it does come down. And Canada up here, of course, they're doing their fair share of factory pollutants and so forth, and that rains on us. So even in Florida, we do not escape acid rain. It is a problem, and this is evidence of it. This is what happens. Building materials disintegrate from the acid. So what can we do to stop it? Well, there's all sorts of suggestions and strategies, but making them, we do have a Clean Air Act, but making everyone abide by it is another thing. This is how some of the gas that's the dirty gas from factories or wherever is cleaned. But all this costs money to put new filters and things on their exhaust pipes from their factories and so forth. So